Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Clone. It's me, David. I'm speeding up the intro a little bit because we did start recording this, but then I forgot to click the record button or something, so we're restarting. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello. If you're watching this on Twitch live, hello to you too. Welcome to our Star Wars podcast. Today, we're talking about Star Wars clone battalions and the different types of battalions, and some of the more famous ones and some of the lesser famous ones, and all our favourite clones and backstories behind them and all of that sort of stuff. So, gonna kick it off straight away with the most famous clone battalion, the 501st.
Yes, 501st.
Very, very, very good battalion, I have to say. Very well portrayed in the Clone Wars TV series. Captain Rex obviously being the most famous clone, undoubtedly the most famous clone. Maybe behind Cody, but you know, Captain Rex for the most part, very famous clone. Led the 501st. They served under Anakin Skywalker, as most people again know, and had some very popular characters in Fives and Echo and Heavy and Hardcase and Tup. All very popular characters in the Clone Wars. So, David, you've got a bit of history on these guys, haven't you? So I'll let you go into that quickly.
I've got more future history.
Future, yes. What happens to them after Order 66? I should say.
I've got future history. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it
future history because that makes sense.
It's trademarked and copyrighted. It's my word. Anyone uses it, I will be suing you, and I will find you.
Get sued. He will. Trust him. He's not lying.
I have contacts. So after Order 66, 501st Legion, as they were developing into the Stormtroopers and into the army of the Empire, they were still under, obviously, the command of Anakin Skywalker / Vader at this point. And as Rex kind of walked away and technically deserted, but when he's a good boy, so
yeah, we wouldn't call him deserter, but
he's a good boy. He's what he does what he does. It became the command of the 501st Legion dropped to Commander Appo, who was basically the same kind of. He was below Captain Rex during the 501st in the Army of the Republic, but then he rose to prominency during the Empire era because of how closely he worked with Vader.
Yeah.
And
he did work very closely with Vader.
The 501st Legion was coined Vader's Fist.
It was. It's funny. The 501st Legion basically throughout their entire duration just stuck with Anakin. Even when he turned into Vader, they just then stuck with Vader.
I mean,
so pretty loyal set of clones, I shall say.
Another fun thing that Appo did was actually save Vader's life.
Did he now? What's the story behind that?
So some Jedi were like, "Ooh, Vader's hunting Jedi. Let's bait him out with a thing of Obi-Wan, you know?
Yeah.
Let's debate him." Vader took the bait because he was just, you know what?
Of course you would. You would always take the bait. Yep. You would take them. Yep.
The man who maimed you, usually you don't want still around.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
So Vader's like basically talking to Appo. This is Legends, so it doesn't really happening. I think it's Legends here. It's in the comics. So Vader's like, you know what, Appo? Stay out here. I'll go kill these Jedi. He goes in. It's basically a large room. There's I think it's about 12 Jedi.
Just waiting for Vader.
Order, and they are waiting for him. Vader takes on a couple, kills a couple, but then he's starting to get a bit overpowered, which is a bit weird for Vader.
But you would with 12 Jedi, like, that's a lot of Jedi.
Anyone would.
Yeah,
and
would.
Conveniently, there is a catwalk above Vader and the Jedi. Appo bolts with his men across that catwalk and just unleashes hellfire onto the Jedi with blaster fire.
Awesome.
Saving Vader's life because he was in a bit of a hassle. but I think you want to talk about
just a
something
little bit, just a little bit.
that's a bit more prominent with the 501st recently. What is
Yes, more prominent with the 501st, the famous Siege of Mandalore, the 332nd company within the 501st, is, you probably don't recognise that number when I first say it, but when I tell you that they were the company that painted their helmets with the face of Ahsoka Tano, you would know exactly what I mean, because they were part of the Siege of Mandalore, massive arc, which pretty much summed up why Ahsoka wasn't seen in any of the films, which a lot of fans were questioning and wondering why. I just wanted to mention them quick because, god damn, those helmets are cool. And the reason they painted them was to respect Ahsoka as their commander, even though she wasn't in the Jedi Order anymore. And, it's very emotional hitting, especially at the end when they're all dead and they're buried, and yeah, it's very good. And I just wanted to quickly mention that in there when we were talking about the 501st. So,
I mean, yeah. They are definitely
altogether though,
decent.
yeah. Altogether though, the 501st, most people know about them, so we won't spend too much more time on them, to be completely honest. I mean, they're pretty famous, you know. So I think we should just move on straight away then. What battalion do you want to talk about, David? It's up to you. I'll give free reins to you.
Well, I have to go with my tied favourite, because I have two. But this is the one I find more interesting. This is the 104th/Wolfpack Battalion. Which you're most...
My favourite, I have to say. My personal favourite.
Well,
You do know more backstory though, because you were clone obsessed. I will give you that.
well,
So
yes,
I'll let you take the lead.
I am clone crazed, as they say.
You live, breathe, and whatever else this.
If it's clone, I love it. Doesn't matter. I love it. I need it.
You just love it.
So,
one thing I want to know you.
Ooh.
I want to ask you. How
Yes?
did Wolf lose his eye? Explain to everybody how Wolf lost his eye.
Well, this one isn't really... It's not really spoken about in much of the lore, apart from, like,
No.
bits and bobs dotted around on forums and comics and bits and bobs.
Yeah.
But he lost his eye during the Battle of Corm against Asajj Ventress, who is a very capable Sith.
Very capable Sith, and has a very cool story, which we'll go into in probably a different podcast. But
Yes,
anyway,
definitely.
David, you can continue.
But the fact... This is one reason why I love the Wolfpack. The fact that Wolf could fight Ventress and not get immediately killed
Yep.
is amazing. Because an ARC trooper couldn't even do that.
Nope.
As seen by the attack on Camino. An ARC trooper attempted and failed horribly, and admittedly did get kissed by Ventress, but that's a different story. Different time, different story. Moving on.
That's a very different time, very different story.
What happens on Camino
Oh, God.
stays on Camino. But
Okay, just moving on from that. That's okay.
you'll mainly
Yeah,
recognise them
overall,
from...
Commander Wolf. Yeah, go on. You keep going.
You'll mainly recognise them from being led by Plo Koon and Commander Wolf.
That was actually what I was about to mention. Commander Wolf, obviously one of the best commanders, probably close to Rex and Cody, right? In terms of generals, like in terms of most famous and quality and all of that sort of stuff. Commander Wolf up there, but Master Plo Koon, right? I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, Master Plo Koon was better with a lightsaber than Yoda. I read that somewhere. I'm not sure if it's canon. It might be Legends. But I
There
read
are
somewhere that he
some
was
who
unbelievably
suggest
good with a
that
lightsaber.
Plo Koon was better with certain forms with a lightsaber than Yoda.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
obviously Yoda is much small. He uses not
Yeah.
a lightsaber, he uses a shorter lightsaber which has a different name.
Yeah.
which is actually quite entertaining. He
That's
basically
true.
uses what Ahsoka. He uses the small lightsaber which Ahsoka uses, basically,
Yeah.
in season
She
7,
uses a smaller one.
which is a lot
Like
better
the
for fighting.
dagger type saber.
Yeah.
Especially dual wielding. It's better for dual wielding.
Plo
No,
Koon was
yeah,
also
Master Plo Koon.
he was one of the very few clone Jedi masters who cared about clones,
He did care about
which is it's hinted in with the Malevolence arc. in the Clone
Star Wars
Wars.
Clone Wars Season 1. My favourite.
Yes.
Watch previous podcast for that, my boys.
Where Plo Koon's fleet of Venators are destroyed, killed. Most of the clones, apart from Boost, Sinker, and Wolf, who at that time is wearing an officer's uniform, mind you. He's not in clone armor.
He is.
He's in
He's not in
officer's
clone armor.
uniform.
He's in office. Yep.
In a escape pod. Most of the fleet's destroyed, you know? And if you notice, their armor's red/maroon.
It
But
is. Oh,
if you
hold
look-
on. Let me
if you
just
look
move
at-
to my.
Oh,
Yeah, let me
if you
just move to
look
104th Battalion on the game.
oh yeah, I'm doing the same. What you won't see is what I'm kind of showing you in game now on my stream as well as Zach's. You won't see in Battlefront 2. You won't see the red/maroon or the
You won't.
second color they had. This is the third color of their armor and the third design of what it is.
And it's pretty cool.
For both.
It is pretty cool, to be fair.
It's a good design for Phase 1 and Phase 2. This is what they were,
Yeah.
roughly. Obviously, it will change depending on clone to clone.
Yeah.
But that's what they look like mainly. Their first colour, especially in the Malevolence arc, was red/maroon. Do you want to know
Yep.
how it came to be that they changed their armour?
Why?
So,
Why did they change
after
that sounds-
after the battle with the Malevolence, and obviously
Mhm.
Boost, Sinker, Plo Koon, and Wolf were all saved.
Woof, woof, woof.
Wolf
Yeah.
decided to change the armor to a dark blue to basically honor the men who had died.
Yeah.
There are no images of this, apart from in some, I think, very obscure comics.
Yeah,
Or
aren't the-
even that,
most of
there's-
those comics that it's in are like legends, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
don't think
there's
they're-
barely any
I don't think they're
any images of it, but it is canon.
Yeah.
That they changed it to dark blue.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Well,
However, before the Battle of Fallujah, so
Mhm.
all that stuff, they
Fun
changed
stuff.
it to grey.
yeah.
I mean, you can still see some of the kind of red in later episodes.
Yeah,
that's just
it pops
kind of
up here and there, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
they sort of just introduced the Corisant Guard, which we'll get onto later, which is the main sort of red clones.
Rex, Wolf
you
did
want,
actually
if you want.
change the symbol of the 104th, as between obviously changing it from red to blue. He changed the
Yeah.
symbol again,
It-
which is,
yeah, he did.
you know, it's a decent thing.
It's a very undecided. Yeah, no, it's a very changing armor, but it's very cool armor at the same
But-
time. But
With the battle with Malevolence,
mhm.
Wolfpack Battalion basically dated with recruits and rookies
They did
against, and it
yes.
was bunged up with veterans of the Malevolence
Mhm.
as well, because there
Yeah,
were
well, it was-
other
it was
survivors,
right-
but that's not
It was,
really.
it
gone
was
into-
right at the start of the Clone Wars, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
you were seeing almost.
Yeah.
I want to say you were almost seeing these people as shinies, like brand new soldiers coming
basically,
in a sense.
and it had veterans being paired with shinies.
Yeah. Yep. It did.
And they just didn't. They
It was-
They resented it. But Wolf and Plo
It-
Koon
it-
were like, you know what? No,
Oh, Wolf and Plo Koon were awesome.
we are a wolf
I
pack.
just
We
love
stick
them.
together.
We do, yeah. And the way Plo Koon says, like, the Wolf Pack is the first clones that we see get humanized, right? And so they'll always have a special place in my heart. Because Plo Koon obviously goes, Like one of the clones says, I can't
Sir,
remember which one it is now. They say
the clones,
we're meant to be expendable.
extendable.
Yeah, and Plo Koon goes, not to me, and it's just like, mwah. It's just it
Most
starts off
impactful
my love.
quotes in that episode.
It's what started. It's one of the things that started my love for clones because I love Plo Koon. I think he's an awesome Jedi,
Yeah.
and it's one of the things that started my love for clones. So Wolfpack, well done. You are one of the best battalions, one of the coolest.
Little clap there. What was one?
Yeah, little clap.
There was another Legion you wanted to talk about, Slash.
Yes, I wanted to talk about the Corisant
Battalion.
Guard. So I spoke about that last time.
Yes.
The Corisant Guard. Now, first thing you think of when you think of the Corisant Guard, what do you think of?
Bitch,
First thing that
motherfucking
pops in your
Commander
head.
Fox.
Bitch, motherfucking Commander Fox. Everyone knows Commander Fox as the man that not only tried to prevent Ahsoka from escaping, right, that was bad enough, but what was worse is he shot Fives. He, goddamn,
That too.
used his blaster rifle and killed
Pistol.
Fives. Sorry, with a pistol.
Was it a
my
rifle or
bad.
pistol?
No, I swear it was a rifle. Like one of the basic rifles. Anyway,
Doesn't matter. He
it's
shot
not the point.
Fives.
The point is, he
That's
shot
what fucking
Fives.
matters.
Everyone hates him. And now you go onto TikTok, right? I'm just addressing the haters here. And they say he had no choice. Fives was about to shoot. No, he wasn't. Fives literally had just picked up a gun. Fox had plenty of time to turn his gun to stun mode, right? Also, shooting him makes zero sense because stunning him, you could find out why he was trying to kill the Emperor, the Palpatine, whatever. Because obviously they didn't know he was the Emperor at that point and whatnot. So they would have surely stunned him to find out why he was trying to kill him, right? But no, instead they just decide to straight up shoot him to hide this. It just doesn't make sense to shoot him. Commander Fox, you may get defended by some fans, but don't like you. Don't like you. But, okay.
No one does.
We're not just going to talk about Commander Fox. No, well, yeah.
There were some
we're
other
not
good
we're not just going to talk about...
in the Corisant Guard.
Yeah, the Corisant Guard is good still. Fox may have been it may be hated on, but he gets. I'll talk about how he gets. No, do you know what? I'll talk about that now. He gets what he deserves
Oh,
after
yeah.
Darth
Yes.
Vader snaps his neck clean in half. Right. So there was a situation where they were sort of out doing a mission, and for whatever reason, Fox's troopers, not Fox himself, but Fox's troopers, start shooting on Lord Vader. That's what they do.
If you
Right.
want, I can go into it.
Go on, yeah, you go into more detail with it.
Because I told you this story.
Yeah, you did. You were the one that introduced
Clearly
the
you
story
didn't
to
write
me.
notes.
I did, it's just not full notes.
Yeah. So, Vader is going to the Jedi Temple to find the Librarian, who
Yes.
is obviously a master fucking Jedi.
hmm
He goes in, finds her. Chaos ensues.
Lightsaber fights,
Librarian.
all the good stuff.
Librarian jumps into a hole that is in the wall of the Jedi Temple. Fox goes, you know what? Shoot them. They do that. Jedi jumps down. Obviously, is captured. Vader jumps up with his lightsaber ignited. Fox's troops shoot at Vader. That's problem one.
Shoots at the Vader. Yeah.
Vader then jumps
Wow.
down, walks over to Fox and goes, what the hell was that? Fox, genuinely being scared, doesn't have a chance of saving. Vader just snaps his neck.
Just clean, instant
Just
snap. Love
It's
it.
the Force. Snap.
What for Fox deserve. So yeah, he also Vader obviously had anger because he was Vader, but I reckon, as you mentioned this to me, he probably had a lot of anger in Fox previously for what happened to Fives and also for what happened to Ahsoka. So
That is true.
mainly what happened to Ahsoka because he was obviously very close to Ahsoka. Rather than
Mainly.
anyway, more about the Corisant Guard. They essentially what they are. Just to summarise what they are, they're an elite. This is on the fandom page. I got this information on the fandom page. They were an elite division of clone shock troopers that almost acted as like a military police force on Corisant, as well as part of the main Grand Republic of the army, right? And the coolest thing about them, or one of the coolest things about them, was the little hounds they had, right? I couldn't find the name of them online, but you see it when they're hunting Ahsoka. They bring out these little hounds,
Insert
and it's
picture.
just so cool. Insert picture here, but they were. It was really cool to see them in action, and to see the clones using other things to track
I hadn't
things.
really seen
It was really
stuff
really
like
cool.
that used before, really.
Yeah,
have we?
no, it was unique, and you don't really see that in any other battalion either. Just the Corisant Guard. So, A class for that. Really cool, really cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the Corisant Guard for now. You, David, are a massive fan of the 327th Battalion, aren't you?
Yes.
Why don't we talk about them for a few minutes?
So, 327th Battalion were led by Ayla Secure and Commander Bly.
Hmm.
And I put up my notes here. They fought in battles such as Quell, Maridun, Seleucami, and Felucia, which we see in Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
And many people obviously wondered, why on earth did the clones continually shoot Ayla Secura after executing Order 66? Like, other clones
Yeah.
shot the Jedi, killed them, left them. You know? And then there were obviously others that just missed entirely and didn't bother searching.
Yeah.
Cough, cough, Cody.
Yep. We'll go on to
But
that later.
Bly and his men just went, nah, bruv. Shoot them.
And then continue to shoot them.
And then unloaded all of their blaster bolts into her. There were
They
many
really
reasons.
did.
There are many things on forums as to why. But
Yep.
they had a very close connection, Bly and Ayla Secura, because of
Yeah,
how many
they were
battles
very
they had
close
been
friends.
in and what had happened to them. It was also basically brought up by other Jedi as well, specifically one called Arligan Zay, who confronted Mace Windu on the issue, as they believed that Secura was growing too close to Bly and was hinting at there was a possible relationship, and Secura was falling in love with Bly.
Ooh.
Which is,
Interesting.
you know, kind of, you know, it wasn't uncommon,
Maybe that should have been
especially
explored.
after Order
No,
66.
it wasn't. It wasn't. You're right.
But it was obviously against Jedi code to even have a relationship and feelings, because Jedi are twads.
They're meant to be compassionate,
opinion.
but they're not allowed to feel compassionate, which doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It's a
But,
paradox.
You know. Mm.
It doesn't work. But the reason... This is many theories behind why Bly kept shooting. Yes, he was obeying Order 66 because of the inhibitor chips.
Yeah.
But he was also just driven by the compassion to make sure she had a painless death.
Yeah. He didn't want her to. Yeah.
He didn't want her
I'll
to
let you talk
suffer
about it. It's
and
very cool.
die by just, you know, a few blaster bolts, left for dead.
And then,
In
yeah.
case of survival. He wanted to make sure she was dead. Because obviously, if you read into what happened to Jedi that survived Order 66, Vader
Yeah.
just brutally tortured some of them. To the case where he was using the Force to crush
Hmm.
a Jedi's heart,
Yeah.
just to lure out another Jedi.
Just look around. And so yeah, no. So Bly obviously not wanting that to happen to Ayla Secura because they were very close. Shot her multiple times.
Yes.
And continued to shoot her.
And on my stream, I'm currently showing the kind of like outfit that 327th would wear,
Hmm.
as it would have
They
the
were
kind of
very.
like. It was a
Yeah.
weird unit because of what they had to deal with.
It's a very under-recognized unit, I would say. Like, I think because Ayla Secura isn't the most well-known Jedi among community,
Yeah.
that unit.
I mean,
sort
she
of
does
gets
appear in Clone
not
Wars
pushed aside, but
briefly, but
She
she
does
is
appear in
generally
the Clone Wars
swept under the
briefly,
rug.
yeah. Yeah. She appears briefly in the movie The Revenge of the Sith, like as you said, when Order 66 is executed, and that you obviously see her getting shot. I almost think they could make with Ayla Secura. They could make her another TV series just focused on her and her squadron. And that could be a pretty cool TV series, because it is a very under-recognized Legion as a whole. Very cool though, very cool. Do we want to talk about Cody and his command?
What, the 212?
The 212.
I don't even have to look at the game to know it. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
We can talk about them if you want.
I mean, 212.
We basically know a bit about both.
Yeah, just to introduce them. 212th obviously served under Obi-Wan Kenobi, Commander Cody leading them. Another one of the more famous ones, obviously because they're in the Revenge of the Sith. And is Commander Cody is the first clone we see to be under the influence of Order 66, obviously in the movies and stuff.
And also to screw it up.
And also just screw it up because he doesn't even...
I've got to point that out. He did.
Yeah,
royally.
He misses Obi-Wan Kenobi, sees him fall into a hole which has water at the bottom, and expects him to have died. Like,
I mean,
come
I
on,
will give
Cody,
him
man.
props. He did
I
tell
thought you were smart,
another
man.
clone to search.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know,
he did.
it's not like a few thermal detonators down there after he fell.
Yeah, it's like it's
worse.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. You just watched him kill General Grievous. Like, come on, man. Like, whatever.
Exactly.
But yeah. Do you have any interesting facts about them that you'd like to share?
I don't. Apart from the fact that when they were attacking Umbara in the Clone Wars, Ponkrell did obviously create a blue-on-blue situation between the 212th and 501st, during which I believe it is either Waxer or Boyle who dies.
Yep. And Waxer and Boyle
they are
they
good
were
clones.
such good clones.
They were developed so well during a Rylot arc.
Yeah, they were. And they just get shot by Ponkrell. Ponkrell! I hate Ponkrell so much. Oh my god. I know, I can't believe it. Honestly, go watch the previous podcast for more about that Umbara situation. Yeah, because we talk about it a lot there.
We do talk about that quite a lot in the previous podcast.
Yeah, but Waxer and I keep forgetting the other guy's name.
Boyle.
I know you just mentioned him. Boyle, Waxer and Boyle. Those two, man. Oh, they're heartfelt. Oh, they hit hard. They really do.
Did.
God damn, they did. So, yeah, that's pretty much. There's not really much more we could talk about. It's quite a short podcast. So
do
far.
have.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I do have another kind of battalion that is only seen once, I think, in the Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a couple that are only seen once, and that's in Revenge of the Sith. One of them is the 21st Corps. They're also known as the Galactic Marines.
Ah, yes, these underwater ones, right?
No.
Is this the underwater ones? Which ones?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll let you keep talking then. I'll let you keep talking.
These clones are the harshest trained in terms of general clone army, not special forces. These are the ones that are brutally sent through missions and led ruthlessly by Bakara, who is obviously the clone commander. He was a great clone commander, all points to him, but he was ruthless in what he did. But he was effective and good. They served alongside Ki-Adi-Mundi. And you'll see them in Revenge of the Sith fighting on Magito when Order 66 is given. Jesus, I every time I hear Order 66 in my head, I have to go execute Order 66.
Yeah, I do as well. It's really bad.
And you
anyway.
See them just, Ki-Adi-Mundi goes, come on, and sprints towards droids. Clones obviously get in Order 66 in their helmets. They don't do that. They stop, form a firing line, and just go, hey, bro.
And then
Shuck on these nuts. and just open up on him.
Sagadis. Noot.
And they
Yeah,
just open
no.
up on him. He
It's one of
kills
the-
a
it's one of the
few,
more brutal-
deflects a few blaster bolts,
Yeah.
but he
It's
gets
one of the more
shot
brutal
in
ones,
his
I would say.
abdomen, and then just gets blooming
Yeah.
open, just shot.
Yeah.
And
Definitely one of the
then
more
I think
brutal
there
ones.
was one battalion that I'm going to show on my screen that you wanted to be a part of if you were going to be a clone.
Ah, yes, the Recon Corps, right?
And that is the
Am I right?
91st Recon Corps,
Yeah, Recon Corps.
led by Commander Neo.
Just before you go into it, the reason I want to be part of the Recon Corps is just because Recon is just my sort of thing. Like, if I reckon if I was going to go into the army now, I wouldn't be a very good like run-in, charging soldier, but I could scout out things pretty well.
Well, that's not,
I reckon.
You know, I'm not going to open that can of worms of how wrong that sentence
No.
was, but you know.
Okay, I know it's got loads of problems with what I just said, but as a summary, that's sort of what I.
As a summary, yeah. I mean,
That's a
the
summary.
91st Recon were deployed to secure passages for heavier regiments.
Yes, they were.
They're survey, secure, basically what would sometimes be other regiments to come in and just screw over everyone else.
Yep. Pretty much. They sort of just went. Didn't they just? I can't remember what it was, but I read somewhere that they go to places before the main army come, and they sort of like secure little bases, don't they?
Well,
And
yeah,
then
that's
everyone
what
comes in.
that's
they
what
get
recon
that
corps
base,
do.
Yeah. It's very cool. It's very cool.
And you only see them
Very cool
in
corps.
Revenge of the Sith,
You do.
where they kill Jedi General Stas Ali
Yep.
on the bark
Unfortunately.
speeders,
Mhm.
and it's one of
Yeah.
the more quicker deaths. It's not as bad as
Yeah,
Plo Koon's
well,
death, but you know,
Oh, Plo Koon's death. That was tragic. Oh well. Order
feels bad to
66,
know that
that
Wolfpack
could be
did that,
another
though.
podcast. It does feel bad to know that Wolfpack did that. See, we're getting sidetracked back to Wolfpack. That's how good they are, honestly.
Wolfpack best boys.
Oh, do you know what? How could we forget? How could we have a podcast entirely dedicated to clone battalions and not mention the Bad Batch?
They're not a battalion.
What?
They are.
Okay, they're not a battalion, but we got to talk about them.
They're a clone
Right.
unit. We can.
They're a clone unit, and they are pretty
Okay, if-
cool.
If we're doing this, I'm gonna start gushing.
Yep, start gushing.
Okay, Bad Batch. If you haven't seen season 7, they are a bunch of deformed clones / defunct clones that are fucking amazing. Comedians were like, "Hey,
Oh wait, hold on.
these ones are."
Quoting the Star Wars season 7 that had desired. What was it? Desired
Desired defects, abnormalities.
That was it. Desired defects. Yeah, no, it's desired defects.
Yes.
They said it. Yeah, it's great.
They had design defects, which was not normal for the Kaminoans to go, these guys are defective. Let's keep them around, see what they do. They would put
Yeah, they don't
them
usually
on
do
Kamino as cleaners, like 99, or just straight up kill them.
Mhm.
That did not happen to the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch then got trained as clone commandos and a Black Ops unit.
Pretty cool.
And they
Damn,
are
did
by
they
far
do some good stuff.
some of the. They are not my favourite clone commando unit by far. That's a different podcast,
Oh. Yep.
which we haven't done yet. I will
We
do
have
that soon,
not. At some
hopefully.
point.
But
But no, yeah, the Bad Batch.
they had no
Oh,
legion,
damn.
no battalion, no Jedi General. They were loyal to the
They
Republic.
didn't need one.
The
They didn't need
Republic
one, did
told
they?
them, "Hey, these sets are doing some bad stuff on this planet.
Go
We
sort
want
them
to
out."
know that. we don't want that. We don't like that." And then the Bad Batch would go and basically stop them rather
Yeah.
successfully, because they would use unorthodox
was
methods,
Very successful.
and it was just amazing. Some of the best stuff.
It was very good. Some of the good stuff. Definitely worth mentioning. in this podcast.
Yes,
I reckon.
thank you for mentioning them.
Very cool, very cool set of clones. We do talk about them in the previous podcast when we were ranking Star Wars Clone Wars story arcs. So
We do, yes.
if you want to hear a little bit more about it, then go to that podcast and you can hear about it there. But I think that's about it for this podcast, isn't it? Talked about a decent
I do
view
believe so, my friend.
of the Clone Battalions. It's one of our shortest. I think it's our shortest one yet. So for all you listeners who are bored, lucky you, eh? I'm joking. Hopefully you're not bored if you've made it to this point. It's still 35 minutes long. We hope you enjoyed this episode. This is to my stream.
Mine's at 120.
It's been episode 4. That's because you didn't stop it. Oh god. Thank you to everybody who's made it this far. Leave a comment below what you want to see next from this podcast. It's been Radio Clone. This is what episode was this now? This is episode 4, wasn't it? We're getting there. We're starting to get some content out there.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Good soldiers follow orders, which means if you're a good soldier, subscribe. You must do it. It's facts. Good soldiers follow orders, you see. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. What's the next week? We discuss our favourite characters in that entire Star Wars universe, and we're dedicating a podcast to each of them. So be sure to stick around for that.
In the entire Star Wars universe.
In the entire Star Wars universe, which is massive. So we'll catch you later. See you guys in the next one.